Well, I have to share. I have to share what's going on with the NBA algorithm and the macro. I learned something today. I spent some time learning a little VBA and I coded this macro to run 100 different standings combinations for NBA. And it works. And it's enormous. And it's going to help us find the best distributions and get excited. Watch this. So, what we're trying to do is this is actually what the old rendition was. This is what we're trying to get to. I'm going to refresh it. It's going to go to 0. It's an enormous pivot table, and it's going to try to help us find the best distributions of standings variables. These are our standings variables. We use all these different stats. We want to figure out how much, what big percentage to weight for something like wins, a negative percentage for something like losses. I adjusted the combinations to record negative numbers here. There's still a lot of work to do for me to finalize what all these different combinations are going to be. I just have a weird sample of 100. That'll be where the work goes forward after this. But we do have a sample to work with. So watch this. We're going to build a pivot table running a bunch of different percentages for the entire season's games we have. We're going to build an enormous data set, and we're going to do it by pressing this button, and the computer's going to go berserk. So we'll see how the recording goes. It's this macro called run 500, even though it's really run 100. Here we go. And AI is working for you. Robots are doing your work. Sip your coffee. If you need to go take a leak, go for it. You've got things you can do for the next minute while this runs through 100 combinations. But I understand how I created it, and I can adjust it. I already had to adjust it when I made some other changes, which you'll see because I started to name all these different combinations. We're going to name them based on their attributes of where they tend to weight certain things. Like if one of the combinations is heavily weighted on possession and margin of victory and adjusted defensive rating, I want to start naming them and noting that, because it's going to show up in the pivot table, and we can sort by the names of the best combinations. And I almost want to set up a competition and get this file out to people so that you can help find the best combination, because there are infinite possibilities of percentages. And I mean, 100 is such a small sample of potential combinations. We really should be running tens of thousands. That will become too laborious, but we can try to do them one at a time, and we can test out different types of combinations so that when this runs, it runs a really wide variety of different things that it could look at. The possibilities are endless. But yeah, we're still going. We're still going. This is great. You just wake up in the morning, adjust a range called the cube history range. You just have to adjust it every morning when the new games come in, and you press this macro, and we're almost done. 98, 99. Thank you, automation, for doing that for us. So what did it do? What it did is it added all these records, all these sample combinations. There are 127,000 something, right? Enormous data set we've just created of all the different combinations, testing them. And then we just refresh the pivot. It's such a big pivot. It takes a few seconds to refresh. It's like trying. I'm working for you, Ken. I'm just a computer. There's only so much I can do at one time. Look at me process. You probably can't even hear me because the recording might be freezing. Computer's exhausted. Oh, wait a minute. We're done. Here it comes. Coming. There it is. What is it? Well, here's what it told us, because we already had this sorted. It said combination number 75 is the winner. Of the ones that we have, combination number 75 is one that I didn't do by hand, obviously, because it's an automated one, because it just has a number. And it's better than, what is this? What's this word? All MOV. You know what that means? That means we used only margin of victory as the combination string for this one. So this one did very well as well. Margin of victory was a big determinant of who wins. You can see that in the combination testing too. That's what this 100 is. The margin of victory one is this one. So it's combination number 6, really, but we've named it because I named it over here as all margin of victory. So let's go down to number 75, and we're going to be like, you the winner, because you were. Now, when we go back to the comparison pivot, watch this. The name's actually going to change. Give it a second. Wow, we got a big data set here. Big data set doing awesome things. Takes a while to update because it's so big. You don't have to run the entire season every time. You the winner. Yes, you were. You were the winner. And it updates and it shows you that the you to winner one was the best one for the season. Now, guess what else we're going to do in the pivot table after this shrinks? It takes like 3 seconds to shrink. Oh man, such a big pivot. It's okay though. It's doing what we want it to do. So once it shrinks that and we get the pivot table in a better view, I'm going to show you what we're looking at by wins and losses. And we're going to try to figure out a better percentage for today. So this is saying you to winner went 386 and 232, wins 62% of 618 games. All margin of victory is up there really close at 61%. So why is the you to winner one really, really good? Why is that? Well, and also, was that good in recent days? The you to winner one, if we want to look at the you to winner, we can type combination number 75 here because that's what it is. And it shows up right here. Just automatically changed. See, 76 is something else. See that changes? 75 is the one it was. So it's this one. And it's saying that it really likes steals. Interesting. Really likes wins. Really likes putting a negative under losses, obviously. Those are kind of redundant stats, though, so we want to try to avoid using them, but they are dependent when looking at the season. Yeah, well, actually, that makes me want to show you something. So let's go back to the comparison pivot. This you the winner one and margin of victory, well, they win over the entire season because wins and losses, we're looking at the wins and losses right now and using those to determine historical wins and losses. That's not fair because we already know who won. So we need to do this for a more reasonable data set that's more recent because that will imply less bias on that wins and loss number because the whole season won't be looked at. So instead of looking at, let's say, the whole season, let's look at just January. How about that? Okay, and the way we can look at January is by highlighting all these January days, not including today. Now, instead of 600 whatever games or whatever it was, it's now 150 games. I don't know why all defensive rating isn't working right. Missing a game, but whatever. So now we're up to 63% and you to win it is still up here. It's still up here as a pretty big one. Although number 42 was better, slightly. 42, 100, actually, no, these all were the same. These all were the same. So the you to win one is good. So number 75 is good. So if we did nothing else, we would leave number 75 and we would look at today because we think that number 75 is the best. And this is what it says for today. It's got the Nuggets up here at a big underdog line. It's got the Pacers. Wow, it's got the Pacers early. So that is in its basic essence how you would come up with a percentage you want to use and a distribution you want to use. But we got a lot of work to do because we got to try out a bunch of different percentages here. Like, do you think you can beat the you to win a one? Well, let's get rid of one of the bad ones. Let's go and let's compare. We'll go all the way to the bottom and see what's a terrible one. All blocks is a terrible one. Actually, all steals is a terrible one. All these ones are bad. That's interesting. Those are the worst. Funny. Well, number 33 is also terrible. Okay. 33 is the worst. So let's go into the combination testing. Let's find number 33 right here. And let's get rid of this. This is heavy on possession and stuff. It sucks. So let's try to beat it. Right. And we'd have to rerun the macro to test this, but we could actually, we could actually test it in the results pivot. So I'm going to try to beat it. And I'm going to say win-loss percentage. I like win-loss percentage, and I'm going to go with 10% there. Number of wins, we say it's kind of redundant. I'm going to go like 3. I'll go -5. I'll go 5 and -5 for wins and losses. I don't want it to be too redundant. Total points per game, I'm going to go with 10%. Possession, I think that does something well. I'm going to go 15%. Margin of victory, I'm going to go 10%. Steals, I'm only going to go, well, no, actually it said heavy in steals was good, right? Let's go 7 on steals. Let's go 5 on rebounds, 5 on blocks, 3-pointers made, 3. adjusted offensive rating 10, defensive rating 10, field goal percentage 15, let's say. All right, gets us to 100. Now number 33, we go into the results pivot actually, and we put 33 here. You can see what it'll do for today. We can also see what it would have done for the entire season by opening this up. And it wins 56%. That is not as good as what we saw in the comparison pivot when we looked at all of these and we did the whole season, which is going to pop up in a second because I just unfiltered all the dates. It takes a while. Wow. Yeah, 62% is better than 56. So what I just did off the top of my head trying to do distribution sucks. Not surprised. Everything I do is wrong. I need robots to make it do it right. Exactly. So yeah, super, super cool. Yuta winner is the one we're going with, and that's number 75. And it's this, and this is our rendering for the day of the 25th. It's got a couple underdogs on here, but really it's saying the Nuggets and they're away at Milwaukee and they can somehow win this game according to distribution number 75. So let's see if that works out. Super exciting stuff. If you want to buy a copy of this, I'm going to put it up for sale. I'm putting a ton of work into it, but I will sell copies of it so you can mess around with it because I really like to hear from people who will test out their own combination strings and definitely know more about basketball and probably do a better job. And certainly I need to write some code to randomly distribute numbers and then have it just happenstance find the proper distributions by running so many samples. But that takes a while, and I don't necessarily know how to do that. So we'll pass it out and we'll all work with it. But yeah, super, super, super cool. All right, good luck, everybody. Go Nuggets. May all your picks be winning. May all your algorithms be working and your macroses be non-errored and everything be just tidy and nice. All right, good luck. May your picks be winning.